we're actually using his WebEx and showing it through WebEx so I can have the full resolution. Okay. Much better. Okay, so one thing I want to point out, let's actually, dashboards are completely configurable. We looked at those samples in the beginning, and these are wonderful. Some of the best dashboards I've seen in the industry, at least amongst the products I've worked on, which was, as I mentioned, CA and also Remedy and Peregrine's and then BMC's products. All you have to do to configure them is right-click edit, and then you can go in and personalize these. We've got hundreds of widgets. The widgets are all on the left side. We have hundreds of widgets. You can just drag and drop them over here. The widgets, you just right-click, edit those. See, let me sit down here.
Can I have a base requirement?
What's that?
Can I have a base requirement for my dashboard for my people?
You can, yeah, certainly, yeah. You can restrict. Yeah.
They can do.
Yeah, so there are global dashboard. Well, you can see there's a folder. Let's turn the folder structure on. There's a folder structure here. So you can create different dashboards and restrict them to different teams and make some global so that they can copy them and then configure them. So yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, so you can have your own team one, you can log it down. The other cool thing too is all this stuff is copyable and editable. So I could actually take your team one and say, okay, I want to use that for my team. Copy it over, so I'm not monkeying up with yours. Copy it over and then edit it, and then change it for my team too.
Yeah. So yeah. And you can, if you want folks not to be able to do that at all, you want to restrict that, you can. Everything in the menu bar and the toolbar is permissioned. So I've just gone to change that donut from a donut to a pie. But you can completely alter these. We've got many different dashboards. We have incident dashboard, which is what we're going to drill into right now, is incident management. There are requests, problem management dashboards, change dashboards, and then there are actually many others. There are executive dashboards where you have more KPI data in here, trending data. That's broken down into performance, awareness, and risk control.
Do you have a project?
Yeah, we have an IT project tracking. That was that starter app I mentioned earlier. And let's see if I've got...
And you can integrate third-party data features into here as well. Was that anything iframe?
Yeah, you can iframe data in here. Yeah. I've got an asset dashboard, so if you're anybody an asset manager from location, storage, stock, and those sorts of things. So I've got a dashboard for that particular one.
Yeah, but you can make a project one too. So,
and we do.
Because we integrate with Cherwell, you can also take that information in and put it in there as well.
The project management application, not that bad. And I keep calling it a starter. It's a great place to be able to track those smaller projects that you want to separate out from change management, so you don't dilute your change management with things that are. That's one of the things we don't have yet in it. It doesn't have Gantt charts yet, and
you can kind of Gantt chart because we have the.
He's got some tricks.
You've got your start date, so as long as you put an end date in there, right, you can kind of Gantt chart. Exactly. I always think of it more of a request portal for projects, right? Okay. Because you're going to get a lot of requests in for projects, right? You're going to have another tool like a Jira or a project, something like that, right, to manage the project itself. But when you get all these requests for projects, you're going to want to prioritize those. So that's what we do really, really well, is that request processing. You can also use this as kind of a stub as well for like MS. So like we did an MS project integration. It was kind of that stub for any of those projects going out. Okay?
So what I've done here is I've gone onto the My Work page, and this is where you as an agent can go and see what tasks are assigned to you or your team. So all the ones on the right here are your team assignments. The ones here on the left are your personal assignments, and we can now drill down these tables here that you see. You can move items, you can right-click, add additional fields. Personally, I would, if this were mine, I would change this. I would make it a little different of the layout, but this is the base layout. There's color coding in here with icon coding for folks with trouble seeing colors, and you guys can change these up. So these mean different things. One's a VIP color, one's the red, of course, is your SLAs are expired, and the green, if I remember right, is I keep forgetting to put my legend back on here. I took it off and I got to put it back on. One is the VIP, and the other one is high priority, priority 1 issue. But you guys can change those up. You can add more colors if you want, or different icons. So it's again the applicant. What's that?
Is that a global setting?
That is, excuse me, that is, I've got these set as global, but you can also, I believe through expression, we have these conditional expression rules, you can have those so that they are not global, so they're more local. So something you need is to be able to make them different for different things or people, or?
No, I prefer it to be global.
Okay.
So if we're switching, if we go between groups, we have people move.
Sure, you want it to be consistent. Okay, yeah, so mine are set up as global.
Or sites with the kind of diversity of campus, one priority may not be the same for one site as the other, so can that differentiate between sites?
Yeah, you would have that stuff as a team. Well, the site's probably a team.
Yeah, well, do you refer to, how do you refer to sites, like different organizations or?
Different
departments? Yeah.
So different service desks.
Yeah.
And also different physical sites as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they're basically looking at like multi-tenant type internal.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we can support different types of multi-tenant setups if you want, but.
That's kind of what I would gather, what you're saying, it's more of almost like a multi-tenant solution internally, right? That sounds all right. Okay. Close enough?
Okay.
Okay.
So let's go start a new incident. And I want to point out one thing that Rob said I failed to mention earlier. So what we're going to do here, we're going to choose Max again because he has a Platinum SLA. We chose Tracy. She just has a standard corporate SLA, or for you guys it would be a university level. But as you can see, you can drive your SLAs by Max. That is actually a crown because he's a VIP. He's very important. We're going to come in here and we're going to use email because I've got some good sample data with that. Email down, and we're going to come over here and set email. If you let's see, email. We'll choose, in this case, email as a break fix. Now, this is what Rob wanted me to point out, and I failed to point it out earlier. You'll see you got your three-tier categorization. The incident and the service request share the same table. And the reason for that is for reporting and for simplicity for you guys and for us. But right in here under the categorization, all you have to do to swap this is when you change your category, the catalog knows that one option is an incident and the other option is a request. And so you'll see it's completely changed the incident to a request. It's kept the same number. The SLAs can change. Your prioritization matrix will change. Reporting will change. You have flags to be able to separate that data out if you wish to get that. But in the workflow process will completely change. But it's just really simple to come in here and change this. And you'll see that your step 3 fields have changed instantly as well. So right now what it's done, we're on a break fix. It's now providing me with a list of check boxes, check items that I have to do before I can consider escalating this. These are sort of it's an escalation checklist is what it is.
And this is actually kind of an important thing. Number one, users don't always know what an incident or request is, right? We think everything's just a problem or something wrong with our system, right? 2, for example, with email, I may say, hey, I don't have email right now, right? But as the tech goes in and diagnoses the issue, I don't have an Outlook. So now it becomes from an incident to a request because now I'm in Outlook, right? So it's pretty important. But the other cool thing, though, is that you'll see is that that ticket number stays the same, right? So now as the end user, I can go, when I go look in my email for that ticket number or whatever, it's the same ticket number. I don't have to look for a million different ticket numbers to find that one single request that I have.
Any questions on that? There's email communication. There is the integration with, as you pointed out, Skype for Business. Also BOMGAR integrations. Yes, there are messages that automatically go out at various points in time. So when you create this, you can have a message go out. Right. Yeah. So in the portal itself, right? So as an end user, I can go into my portal page and I can look at my request or my stuff I submitted, and I can go through and look at that. Does that make sense? You so all I have to do is select their name, and it will pop up an email for you, so you can just send a quick email. If you do want to use text, we can put in a text link as well.
She's saying, though, she wants to just see in the ticket, though. So I can put a note in the ticket then that the end user would see.
Oh, yeah, okay, so what we talked a little bit about earlier. So down under the journal, go away. All right, let's bump this up here a bit. Under journal, we can come in here and create a new journal note, and we can send it off to the customer. There are different types of journal notes you can create, but this would make it visible in the customer portal.
Yes, that's what you're asking about earlier.
Here is the data you requested, and this is a rich text, so you can drag and drop. You can drag and drop things in there, documents and stuff. Okay.
So that way, then, as an end user, I would see it in my portal. So really, you can communicate via Skype, Bomgar, text, email, or portal.
Jabber?
We can integrate with Jabber.
Yeah, in fact, I think there's a mergeable app for Jabber on there. Yeah, we do support scripting and template responses as well. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a quick template or quick response button up on the top that you can pull down.
Correct. We do have that if you want to do quick templates. There's also over here in the task pane. You can create your own. Like for example, here I've got a template that I built personally to email the solution. We don't have a solution in there yet, so it'll just be an empty box. But it takes data. It's a template that I created using what we call our one-step process right up here. It allows you to create all kinds of things besides templates. But email templates is one of its key purposes so that I can go in and format my own personal templates as an agent and just choose and pick them and say, okay, this is my KB send email. This is my personal description email, things like that. So, and I'll show you these in a minute. But it's all drag drop. You don't have to do any coding to create those. But on this incident, again, you've got fields. You've got the knowledge search right here. You've got your escalation capabilities here. You've got your time tracking right here. So everything is placed so that it's front and center, easy to get to. And the knowledge base, you guys can choose the different sources of knowledge, where you go internally or externally. And you'll see over here that we've got, let's filter this down so we actually get something email.
Can you integrate with
what?
Yes.
Yeah, we can do that as well. But you'll see here we've got, we're looking at open incidents. We've got these various sources here, TechNet, and make sure I'm sharing. I didn't do that again. And then come over here if you want. You just say, hey, I want to browse TechNet, and it'll take that keyword and then go and search those various locations. Actually, on the external search, it'll do all of them. I'm always afraid to hit the YouTube because you never know what you're going to get. Might get something inappropriate for today, so I'm not even going to go there. So then when you use this information, it will bring the site for that data back and record that for you so you can access it again if you need. Also, if you search the internal, let's look at some of the internal knowledge. This is the Cherwell knowledge article. Key things I want to point on the Cherwell knowledge, it does follow a full life cycle process. So articles, before they're usable, have to be well vetted. And they go through an approval process and a review and approval process. And if they're published, they are available. If you use the article, it will then put the data into the resolution detail right over here. And now I can use my email link to go send that off to them. And it will format the email, take the body of this data here and send it off in my email. The goal of this interface is to try to make everything available and at your fingertips so you have no more than 2 clicks to get to anything. So typically 1 click, but 2 at the most. There are some search functions in here, so if I want to go in and pull in and link, say, the piece of hardware, the server to this, maybe the email server is having problems, I want to link that up. We've got right here a link to and ability to search your CMDB. Now this one takes a little more than 2 clicks because you're actually doing a search. Let's go look at our servers. We can see all of our servers in our database. We can see that our mail server is having an issue. It's been flagged. The flagging could have been done through an event management system. We integrate with all the major event management network monitoring solutions, and we actually have our own as well. Actually, not our own yet. We have a partnership, sister organization. We don't own them yet. Maybe we'll see how that goes. So we can get those events, and it can change the status of the asset within the solution. And now we've linked that mail server up to our incident, and we have that information we can get to via a visual graphic. and have the ability also to see the dependency mapping. And this is the tool like we were just eyeballing each other about. It's called FireScope. It's a solution that does the dependency mapping and also does have a network monitoring component. But it provides the network map so that you can use this to gather information. Also within here, if you right-click on any of these, you can get additional information and perform various functions. So if you're a troubleshooter and you want to get in there and you have permissions, you can go in and actually ping this RDP. This is where BombGuard link is often put, so you can do the remote control on that device through the BombGuard capabilities by just selecting it, saying, okay, connect up to this device. So again, things are right there at your fingertips. If you want to actually go see it, you just hit this little blue jump arrow right here. That'll take you to the record itself. There is a link to it below. So lots of information in here to help agents to be able to process the tickets, find solutions, to be able to look beyond. So for example, if I need to, I can go look at that mail server and look at the contract, because maybe under contracts there's a third party that is supposed to take care of this. We can look at all the tabs here, and there's a lot of information on these devices. Right here under contracts, I move it over here. Let's move it. Come on. Well, guy doesn't want to move. Let's go contracts. Oh, I don't have a contract link. Let's go link a contract. There we go. So we can open the contract and we can see who has responsibility for this device. So maybe it's one of those third-party vendors. So key point I'm trying to make here on this incident is it's vast. You want to be able to get your end users back into productivity as quickly as possible. You want to get them a solution right away. Questions on the incident management?
With incident records created, so you log all your information, what type of notifications can you send out automatically to the system? Maybe email, text messages?
Yeah, we talked about a couple of them. Yeah, so yeah. But you can send messages out at any time. We recommend you be not a little cautious with your messaging, because you can overwhelm folks. I know Remedy had a message that went out when it was created, anytime it changed, and then when it was resolved, and then when it was closed, it just bombarded people. So when I worked on, first thing I did at Remedy is I was on the support team, and I always got calls on how to turn off all the messaging. So within Cherwell, we send out a few messages when it's created, when it's resolved, and then a survey at the end when it's closed.
You don't want to spam registers.
But you can do whatever you want. I mean, it's a huge rules-based engine. The beauty of the solution, in my opinion, is the technical differentiator on this product over our competitors, besides not having to code, is that we give you guys every tool that our designers use to build this. So for the good and the bad, you've got the ability to come in here and change anything and everything. And what happens sometimes, when I say bad, what happens sometimes is people give everybody everything they want. And then next thing you know, nobody likes it because there's too much in there. They've over-designed it.
There's something governance.
You did governance, yes, and you can use the change management capabilities in here to do that. Yes, sir?
So asset management is built into the product?
Yeah, the asset management is actually sort of. There's three parts. You want to explain?
Yeah,
he actually is the old semantic asset management guru. So
from an ITIL perspective, configuration and asset are part of this solution, right?
Yes.
So that's the CMDB. That's where you get, that's where you put stuff in, right? And then you can relate those assets or those CIs to a ticket or to a change or to whatever, right? But external to our system, there is the concept of inventory and discovery, right? So I've got to go out there and I got to find all this stuff. I got to find where the computers are. I got to find where the stuff is, right? And then once I find it, then I can put it in. From that perspective, we number one integrated with things like SCCM, with Qualys, with Tripwire, with whatever source of asset types information is out there. We can integrate with that and then import that into Cherwell. However, if you either don't like SCCM or maybe you want something a little bit more robust, we do have our own asset management solution as well that natively integrates. And then, like Everett said, there's a company out there called FireScope, which does service and dependency mapping as well. So we can then also discover those services and import those into the CMDB as well. So yes, there is configuration and asset management and the CMDB as part of the solution, but you still have to populate that with something and get that information.
And we can use SCCM as well.
Make sense?
The discovery part isn't built in.
Discovery is not built in. That is external to our
But there's
system.
an addict there.
actually a map. There's a map for checkout. So one of our partners built a virtual application that does a checkout type system or a loan or lease type system. So yes, we fully support that.
Yeah. Okay, a couple.
Like reassigning that asset from one user to
Yep.
another.
Yeah, that's pretty
too. And if you want to see, for example, if you want to see what Max owns here, you can drill down into him and into his profile here and go see all the CIs that he owns.
Yeah, come to CI real quick.
Yeah, sure.
And pop up.
Let's actually bring it up here.
Yep. And so then, yeah. So from here, I could reassign this. I could also create. Everyone was talking about automation processes as well. We have these things called one-steps, which are kind of called macros for the system. I could create an automation process to automatically reassign it. Then it would just pop up like a window. You know. So I could automate that process a little bit more too.
And then the owner's history and track of
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
You do know you're going out of order on my list here. I'm going to get in trouble. Okay, so yes.
Like the device having a reoccurring problem.
Yeah. Exactly.
And also baseline, another thing you wanted was changes, recordings of changes to it. So we do have baseline changes. Now on the computer, this computer here doesn't have a lot of them. I was going to show you the one on that mail server. We track all changes. You guys can decide what fields you want to audit. And if any of those fields ought to be changed between discoveries, we'll capture that. And then you can run reports on those and filter out. So if you want to look for all location changes, you can see all location changes or memory changes or whatever, OS change, just anything. We can capture that information in the baseline changes here, right there on that tab.
And then also too, with some or with most inventory solutions too, we can sync with those on a regular basis, right? So then if we detect that the assets change based off inventory, then we can create a ticket or a change request or a change notification on that.
I'm going back to my server because there's great data here.
So, answer your question, sir? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So since I am going out of order, I'm going to check that one off, okay? Because you made me go there. All right. So right here is let's go look at all the tabs under baseline changes. So I've got lots of data here. This is where you can go in and filter. This is a little filter icon. You come in here and search and say, hey, show me all location. 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 So it'll show me all the location changes right there. The other thing I wanted to point out, because it was on your list, is under SLAs. We can go and look at the SLA that's associated with that. And then under agreements, you've got your OLAs and underpinning contracts linked right here. Is that part of your responsibility as well? So we do, it was on the list. So Kelsey put it on there, so we got it covered. All right, so OLAs, SLAs right there, and they're linked to not only your services, but also cross-linked to your CIs. All right, so again, everything is relational, and you have all the tools and controls to change those relationships, to change the fields, add the field, change the workflow, and everything, every aspect of the solution to make it. And why would you want to do that? You want to do that because your rules change, your business rules change, your requirements change, and you want to be able to make those changes as you change. And one of the, in my opinion, one of our key metrics at Cherwell is we have a 98.4% retention of our customers from day one, from the day we started releasing these. Most companies will show that in an 18-month period, right? And so we do it from day one. And I think part of the reason is technically they're not backed into a corner. They can change the solution when their requirements change. And so, you know, they don't outgrow the product. Plus, we're a good company. We try to meet all your needs.
Along those lines.
Yes.
One is how do you get data into, say, asset management? Would you have to use your API?
There's some so out of the box, like SDCM, there's pre-built integrations, right? So there, I mean, and
sure,
without
discovery and stuff like that. I meant like importing data out of another system.
So you can do CSV or Excel dump into it is a really good way. You can do a direct database connection. Is another way you can do it because we SQL backend with us. Okay. So that's another way. Or three, you could do it with the REST API or SOAP API.
Not my recommendation, unless you're getting data like from a procurement system, a few. But if you're going to get bulk data, we've got a tool built in for importing data on a automatic basis.
And then getting data out of Cherwell?
Yeah, you can just, there's ways to export the data and get it out.
Dumps, you can do Excel, you can do many different ways.
Yeah.
But you can also, if you're doing Excel, we could also monitor a folder as well. So if you have Excel that goes into a folder on a regular basis, we can monitor that.
And we suck that data in or push that data out. All right, so time is really flying here. So we've covered incident, and can I check off asset?
Yeah.
Is that enough for asset? If you need more, we can always back up or do another presentation later. All right, so let's go from incident to problem, because some of the typical flow is your incident managers. These guys here are seeing problems all the time, and they want to, in fact, I put an icon right here to make it simple. Some of the fun things you can do, you can create these one steps we talked about, and then have them as icons right here and be able to fire them off. So what this is going to do is I'm an incident agent and I'm having issues. I'm seeing this email problem nonstop, so all day long. So I'm going to report to the problem manager that, hey, can you look at this and find out why this is happening? And so I'm going to come in here and say, give a brief description. Email is coming up all day long. And we're going to take that, and what it's done now is created that parent-child relationship this gentleman's asking about between incidents and problems, and you'll see all the incidents down here. Now, the other method to do this, if you're a problem manager, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to look for trends, look and see what all the break-fix requests are. If you see email coming up all the time, you go in and you come in here and say, okay, I'm seeing emails all the time. I'm going to go in and link and go find those emails, come up here to show me all the emails in the past certain period of time, and I'm going to link these guys up. And now I've linked. I could grab more than one if I wanted to, but I've linked up the incidents. Now I'm not impacting those incidents yet. I'm not done anything to them. I've just created that relationship. And under problem management, we're going to take ownership of this beast right now. We're going to begin work, and that can kick off messages if you want. The problem management process is classify, investigate, create a known error, resolution, and then close. You can change that. Just keep in mind, you can change anything if that's not your process. And as you complete data, after you're doing investigation and diagnostics, you can put your diagnostic data here, and you'll see that as you fill that data in, it will move you into the next area. We can have a workaround, step 1, step 2. We can publish that as a known error. I failed to show that in the self-service portal. There's a known error location where you can go, your self-service folks can go look at what's published. So this is where you publish those known errors to your users. We can create a knowledge article by just selecting this guy, and it will go in and move key data points, elements, into the knowledge article and begin it as a new article. We can also go in, let's not save that. You can also publish to the top issues list. Remember when we looked at the top issues that you could subscribe to as an end user? This is where the problem manager goes and says, hey, I want to publish this on the self-service portal for people to subscribe to. And when they do subscribe, those incidents will appear down here. So a lot of functionality in here to get data out to your end users and to your staff to be able to be aware of problems that are going on. Also, this Twitter right here, this Twitter capability, it's not going to do anything because I'm not set up for it. But if you select this, this can tweet out. This was actually driven by University of Colorado Springs, one of our first customers. They said that they use Twitter for broadcast communications to their organization. Do you guys use anything like that, or? Yeah, it doesn't have to be Twitter. If you guys use something else, we can put that in there as well.
To your point, see, that's another way to communicate, right? So you could also tweet someone and say, hey, check it out.
Yeah, that's a good point. So another method to tweet out, to broadcast out to everybody, hey, email's down, and you know the key. You got to give them some expectation when it's going to be back. Otherwise, they'll start calling you.
Well, you can also use it too for individuals.
Just doing that right here first.
Yeah, I noticed in the incident there was a track time link.
Yeah. Correct.
It seemed to be in this here. So how do you track how much time to spend on a problem?
Well, this particular one, out of box, it tracks from open to closed.
Okay.
It doesn't track individual time. You can, however, put in here, if you have got multiple team members, what they can do is they can create a time segment. You can put a button there that says track, just like the other one, track time. but you can also, and what it does, I should have shown you guys this, when you hit track time, what it does is it creates we call them a task time segment. And you'll see right here under type, there's a time entry. And the reason we do that is we capture the start stop times of each of those tasks. When you hit that button in incident management, it asks you for how much time. This way I'm doing it here, I've got to actually go in and put it in myself. But the reason we break these out into different time segments is so that if you guys need to report on level 3 activity, level 1 activity, it breaks it out into those, different team levels. So, because oftentimes, the reason is for chargebacks, some companies, organizations do chargebacks. Level for Tier 3 is different than Tier 1. Tier 2, of course, would be different as well. And so by capturing these as individual segments, it's very easy to report on. That's the reason we do that.
The knowledge-based publishing, authoring, the permission user-based or user groups?
It can be either. So it's up to you guys how you want to control that. The permissions are very granular, and you manage those in the admin console. But yeah, you can do it. It's typically by security groups, and then individuals belong to those security groups.
Is there like a workflow so it can be vetted?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, go ahead, please.
So if you're in a situation where you're multi-tenant or you have several departments, is there a level which at a central level you can track, like email, how usually email is reported from the ground up, where maybe they can be more proactive in there. It takes time for something at the service desk level, you have multiple service desks for it to actually start showing up centrally as a problem. Would they be able to, if they're getting separated into departments and tenants, would they be able to still look at the entire organization?
Yeah, so you can, it depends, actually it depends on how you've got the multi-tenancy orchestrated. Most folks are configured. Most folks configure it as multi-tenancy in a single instance of the solution. And so yes, in that case you can have a higher level individual be able to look at all that's going on, godlike, and be able to get an understanding and reports on the entire organization, or just focus on a single organization. Yeah.
And a kind of related question, if you've got, under your particular silo, if you've got multiple organizations with different affiliations around the university, but we're still responsible for providing support, can that be monitored in the same way?
Yes. Yeah. If you have, correct. Again,
you're crossing permission boundaries as well.
Yeah, but you can have certain folks have permissions to go across those boundaries and to see more of a global level. In fact, reminds me something you guys wanted was in your requirements that I've got to show, because it took a little time to build. It was fun to build, but you guys wanted a different interface. So this form we're looking at for incident, one of your requirements was, I want to see a completely different layout for a different organization, right? So I got to show you that, because that was fun to do. I had not done that yet. I had not done a completely different look and feel of the same form. So remind me to not forget to show that. I'll show that here in just a minute. So going through the problem, so we've created a knowledge article from there, on and on. Okay, resolution, you can put your resolution here. And then as a problem manager, once you have the resolution in your closed code, we'll say hardware failure, you can then go and resolve attached incidents by just selecting this link right here. It will go through and update all of the incidents and resolve them. As you can see now, they're both resolved, whereas they weren't before. So that's how you take the data and efficiently move the data from here to each of those incidents and resolve them. It doesn't close it. Follows so those who are familiar with remedies, the same process. You have a certain number of days to respond back to say, hey, you did really fix it. And if not, then you can request a reopen on the system here through different mechanisms. Through email, there's a reopen button on the outbound email. Then that'll automatically reopen it. But that's built into the solution as well. And then from here, if you need to, for example, that the problem may require an infrastructure change, there is a direct link and a parent-child relationship. create change. Okay, the field task. Oh, my task. Let's want some data test. We'll just put test here. Give that a save. I didn't finish my test. So what I'm going to do here is show you how you can now seamlessly transition from a problem to a change. And we support the three types, three ITIL recommended change types out of box here. We've got emergency, normal, and standard. Let's take emergency since I'm in a state of emergency here because time is going much faster than I thought. We're going to say, who's the requester? Oh, it's me, Henry, H-E-N, Henry. Okay. Oh, come on. You know how to find me. Oh, I didn't spell his name right. H-E-N-R-I. There we go. It's a little search window. And then the title, we're going to say, maybe we have to patch the email server. And that's what we determined through our problem investigation. And then we're going to say this is fairly high because it's the corporate email. Get rid of that. Go away. There we go. So change management is a unique beast. Everybody's change is different. We've based our out-of-box on the three types of ITIL, but our professional services say they spend the most time altering change management because everybody's is different. Then that's where the benefit of our solution and the ease of configuration come into play. Our professional services don't live at your site for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks and months and months and months. They come in, they do it quickly, and they get out because the administration of this and alteration of this is all drag drop. It's all a WYSIWYG. And then double click, right click, define what that back end process is, and then that's often done by drag and drop as well, and then you're done and on your way to go. So the change process, very quickly, there are standard changes. We do have a standard change. Those are your pre-approved changes. This is an emergency. It has a single approval process. A normal is very similar to this. It has two approval processes, which you can absolutely alter. The normal has an assessment approval, and then it has an implementation approval. This particular one just has the implementation approval. And if you need to see the approval process, you can just click that guy there, and it'll take you right to the process, so you can see how it flows. Or if you want, you can put in information here. Required by change, use the display off. Oh, yeah, that's the information right there. You guys can add additional information in this info, give it a little more direction than just a single sentence if you wish. So what we're going to do, we're going to give it a proposed start date. We're going to say it's an emergency, so we want it tonight. Now, it's moved over information from change, so it saves you time. So very quickly, since we are going really fast here, what I'm going to do is put in my planned start date. It does have the ability to check and see that it has intelligence to let you know you picked a bad date, and it also lets you know if you picked a date that this maintenance window on this device does not allow. It's telling us you're off the maintenance window. Yes, sir?
Since we tend to use either our Outlook calendaring or our calendar app to manage our fixed times, does this automatically create a calendar event in the calendar system?
Now, it can integrate with tasking systems. Calendaring systems are a little trickier. I know our professional services have done some integration with external calendars, but we'd have to sit down with you and figure out what you guys are using. And
yeah, so if you're using Outlook, I mean, it's kind of, I've been playing around with it. They have to export the CSV out of Outlook and import it in here, so it can be done. And I think there's probably a way to
I'm thinking about it going
the other way.
If a ticket is generated and it's going to block an hour and a half.
Yeah, I've been trying to see from Outlook too, but we can export out to a CSV. So, and because Outlook can import a CSV, you can do it that way too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So there's a couple ways to do that. There is a calendar within the solution as well. It's a forward schedule of change, and let's see if I've got some sample data. I've just got a little sample data here.
So can you subscribe to this? Does this jump out of an ITS or anything like that you can subscribe to?
I'll have to find out if it allows you to do that. This calendar can be posted on the self-service portal, so folks can go in and watch it. It's one thing I didn't show when we were over there. Lots of little things that, as I'm flying through, I didn't point out. But yeah, the calendars are available and visible through the self-service portal and for any agent if you wish. You can also create your own calendars in here. So we've got the calendaring tool right here. So if you want to create unique calendars, this one shows these 5 5 items. But if you want to add other information from other sources, you can add those here.
Does this change calendar show all the change types?
Yeah, it can show. If you look over here, it says emergency, normal, standard, completed changes, and also service schedules.
Okay.
But if you want to add the tasks in here, your underlying tasks, you can add those as well. You can create unique calendars for yourselves. Yeah, you can break it out by tech as well.
Cross-site?
So this is more, it goes placed your multi-tenancy?
Yeah, we have, like, Central IS has, change schedule that the rest of the campus wants to look at.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be able to do that as well, yeah. I've not tried that one, but you should be able to do that. It should not be, I'm 98% sure you can do cross sites. Yeah, it's just, like he was just whispered there, it's all based on permissions, what you have access to. All right, so let's just very quickly move forward. Yeah, I think this is the last section on this one. So it works in, change works in a process that walks you through it, and as you proceed through, you complete the various sections, and the reason it's designed this way, it ensures that your, especially your new change managers, follow the process. And the items can be required at various times to remind them, and also things can, again, I keep mentioning this, and it's one of our key differentiators. You can change whatever you want in here. So these questions, these are a few assessment questions. You can change these questions. You can have different weightings to them. You can have different reactions to these. So there's escalations and notifications that go out based upon the risk assessment as you answer these questions. You guys can define what those are.
I assume there's a link between the change and the incident if a change causes an incident.
Absolutely. We could have gone straight from an incident to a change if we wanted. That was another option. All of the modules are completely interconnected. None of them are, they're all natively built. So using modules is kind of an inappropriate term, but they're all interrelated.
So can you go backwards, though? So you implemented the new change, now you go to some incidents.
Yes. So right here, this is where you would do that. You say, okay, I'm seeing a bunch of changes to the email system, and so you come up here and say, okay, let's see all the ones on the email system, and then I want to filter out. Let's go to the filter here. I can say, show me all the ones that have come in the last, within the last 3 days after we did our change, and we've got 3. We're going to take these 3. So I can do this right this time, and we're going to link all 3 of those up. So that's how you do that. It's just right there.
There's also a mergeable application that takes that a step further.
And then there's a question on your requirements while we're here. This actually brings up that question. One of the questions was undocumented changes. Can you create, can you create a change record on undocumented changes?
Okay. Can they automatically?
Can they automatically? The answer is yes. The key, though, is how are you guys capturing those undocumented changes? Where are you recording those?
Or what's
the trigger?
Yeah.
Yes, undocumented.
Yeah.
Somebody made a change and you detected it through automation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Signature.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a really good book about that called Visible Ops that's written by some folks over IP Logic, which is down off cover. So yeah, take a look at it. Yeah.
So the key to that, so we can do it. So yes, absolutely, we can do that. The key is knowing how you're going to flag those. And based on that flag, we'll create the change. So if it's email from a tripwire or an API from a tripwire, we can create the change. If it's going in between discovery, so SDCM or our discovery solution detects a baseline change, and you're flagging that field. That change to that field can then trigger that creation of a change request, and then link that to your CI, and then notify somebody as an undocumented.
And also, too, like FireScope, the product we were talking about, that can do that as well. So we can look at a change in the service, and if the service was not supposed to change, then it can trigger a change as well.
All right, so let's jump through. Here's your implementation plans, and then the next thing is we're going to go into approval, because I want to jump. Let's go back here. I want to talk about approvals real quick. So what it's telling me, so I've started the approval process. It's telling me that everything's going to be locked down, so you can't make any alterations to your change request. And down below, there are your change approvals. So change approvals are very flexible. You guys can have groups, individuals, based on a relationship. So because of this CI, we have this email, right here, configuration items. We have this email server connected. The owner of that can be brought in as part of that approval process. So you guys can define who those approvers are. These just happen to be a couple of random individuals that have in a cab. You can approve multiple ways. You can approve through the mobile solution. You can approve through email. If you approve through email, or the self-service portal, so that Tracy character we were playing with first, she can receive an approval and manage it through her self-service portal. Those don't require a license. If you come into the solution in here and look at the change, and you've consumed the license. So you can come in here now, and if you want, as Gene, I'd come in here and look at this and go, oh yeah, it looks good. Let's approve it. Or you can also change the presentation of this and to a split view. And as I'll come in here, just pretend I'm Susan and say, yeah, I approve of this. And here's a comment here. Looks good. Looks good. Move forward. We also do have the concept of, let's give that a quick approval. Oh.
Assuming there's something special about the way you're activating this. Normally,
you
wouldn't be able to pretend you're Susan.
Mine's wide open. Yeah, very good catch. You're the first one who's ever caught that. I like that. Keep this man. He's very good with detail. Yeah, so I've turned those off so I can do fun stuff like that during the demo. You can set up all kinds of permissions and or turn them off. All right, so what I was going with that is, there's another way to approve. So this is automated approvals. Do you guys ever get together as a change advisory board and sit down and go, okay, what's that?
We have a change advisory board.
Okay. Do you get together physically or virtually on the phone, or only if you need to?
We approve changes just without having to meet. So we're using Jira right now, and so all the change advisory board members will look at the change in Jira.
Okay.
We try to do it.
I should have showed you the Jira integration. We've got an integration to Jira. I've actually got it set up.
So we do it as if something comes up.
It was like emergencies. Sometimes when there's emergencies, you guys will get on the phone, I'm sure, and say, okay, who's going to approve this? So if you've got a standard approval process automated in here and you need to circumvent that in an emergency, we've got what is called a show of hands. And because I moved forward, I went beyond the show of hands. There's a button. You select that, and then the one recording, your change recorder, can type in there who approved it. So it's basically, in your phone meeting or physical meeting, you capture that. So that's another option as well. And it supersedes the out-of-box. So we're going to click that reload, which is an indication that the back-end approval process is completed. You can also set up alternate approvers. So if you're going out of town for a week, you can specify the time frame and who it is, who will be your alternate. So you can set those up as well. And now we're in our implementation phase. And in this phase, it's really, I kind of stopped right here because it's up to you guys. What do you do for implementation of a change? Do you have underlying steps, not work orders, that's with a request, but underlying tasks? You can automate that. Under the one-step process, I've got an RFC, request for change, patch process, and it has a predefined patch process that I've created to use as part of my demo. And in here, you'll see that there are some that are dependent on others. The gentleman in the back asked about dependencies. I don't see him back there, but this is how you mark dependencies on your task flow. And as these are completed, the change manager can look at these at any time and get a quick status update. And then when they are complete, you can use the final notification to tell the problem manager, because we are linked to the problem, you can resolve the problem. So if we look at that problem, you'll see that it's been automatically marked as pending change right here. And that will be updated when the tasks are all done and the change is resolved. So that's one method of doing it. I feel the pressure right over here for some reason. The other way is if you do have a release process or need a release process, let's see, did I install it? I don't think I installed it on this one. We have a release, besides I'll have time to show it anyway. We have a release management solution. It's built very similar to this as it walks you through the process. Very robust process, very easy to integrate with. But you can link the change with releases and then move forward. Release isn't on here, but just in case, anybody considering release management process? One guy. All right, we have it. It's on our map exchange. You don't have to buy it. It's included. It's included, so you can come download that.
Yes, sir.
And if the problem is resolved, will it move incidents into closed stage or pending review or, however you can actually do that?
Yeah, so if you want to automate it, you can. We don't have it automated. We have the button you push because we kind of want the problem manager to have the final say. So you want him to check it or her to see if, okay, is it really resolved? All right, it's really resolved. I'm going to put in some resolution detail here from the change, and then I'm going to push the button and do it.
And will that close the incident?
That will resolve the incident and give them a set amount of days to reply. You guys can change those days. But you can automate that if you want, so that when it goes from pending change to complete or resolved, the problem will then flag the others and resolve this. But out of box, we have that as a manual step.
Any other questions before we break?
Lots of good questions. Can I have that 10 minutes in the end since they're asking questions now?
We could, yeah.
No, we'll try to save some time in the end for that.
So we're going to take another 10-minute break. We'll meet back here about